I'm going to show you the Think Tank Spectral 15. This bag just came out, brand new release from Think Tank. Fantastic bag. It's a shoulder style bag. It has a shoulder strap, and it's actually a much less expensive version of a shoulder bag than the previous release, the Signature 13. So right away, just to get the prices right out here, so they have an 8, a 10, and a 15-inch version, and the prices on it are $100, $120, and $140 US dollars for each of these three bags. And for anybody that watched my Signature 13 review, the one thing that the only complaint that I had about it was that it was a 13-inch bag instead of a 15. This bag is the one that's going to handle my 15-inch MacBook Pro, which I absolutely love that. And there's a lot of other really great features, and it's like half the price of the Signature series. So there's a couple of things that are different, and you know, I still absolutely love the Signature bag, and I think I'll be using that one a ton as well. It just depends on the situation and the circumstances. So I'll mention a couple of those differences as we go through this bag. First of all, this is a nylon bag. It doesn't have the like cushy wool and fine leather pointing and whatnot. It's not a fancy bag in that regard. But it is incredibly well designed and laid out. So on the bottom there is a tripod strap. And actually I'm going to just unhook this tripod so that it is not clunking around underneath there. I'm going to set that off to the side. So with this bag, one of the new changes is that it has a magnetic latch. So it basically just drops in there, the magnetic thing finds its little thing. You might have to give it a little bit of help to find its spot, but then it magnetically seals. And this works perfectly well almost all the time. The one exception is actually when you have a tripod mounted underneath. Because of the weight on the bottom of the bag pulling, it actually kind of pulls down, and this pulls up, and it will unhook itself while a tripod is dangling underneath, if you're carrying it by the handle. If you're carrying it by the shoulder strap, I have not found that it does that. So it's not any big deal, but it does do that. These straps are latched on here with there's a safety loop on here. And you just get this little safety loop connected in here, and you snap it in there so that the tripod strap doesn't slide off on you, and that's where you can mount your tripod. These straps come actually packed inside the bag, and if you're not going to carry a little travel tripod on there, then you don't even need to worry about putting them on. Actually, a really good opportunity to talk about the travel tripod that I have, the FLM CP26, actually clamps under here beautifully, and this pairing looks and functions just like really well together. Anyway, inside the bag is very similar. If you have seen other Think Tank bags, the padding is very similar. I've taken 2 of the little dividers out. The whole inside is Velcro, like one side of the Velcro attachment, and then these pads can be moved around with their Velcro to put them into any configuration that you want. I very comfortably can carry the trifecta of lenses, the 16 to 35, 24 to 70, 70 to 200 on an ungripped 5D Mark IV. I don't use a battery grip. And it fits beautifully. There's actually plenty of room in here to stick in a flash as well. I mean, there's just oodles and oodles of room inside. And then every single Think Tank bag that I own, and I have probably 8 or 9 of them now, I think I have a problem, they all come with a Raincoat. It's a water-resistant fabric. It's nylon and Nylex. But this rain protector whatnot is included so that you can totally cover the whole thing if you get stuck in a downpour situation. I think I already mentioned, but there are 2 more of these little Velcro dividers that I've taken out and set aside because I don't need them in my setup. But a couple of them divide over horizontally, and if you're going to put maybe a fisheye underneath and then maybe a 35 and a 50 on top of that, little small primes, you could stack them all up on one side with those horizontal dividers in between and just pack a ton of smaller lenses in there. Just exactly the same as they have on the Signature 13, they have a safety flap that goes over top and seals your gear inside. I find this personally to be a huge plus. For anybody that's seen the Peak Design Messenger, the Everyday Messenger 15, I used that bag for, probably between a year and 2 years before I switched over to the Signature 13. And the one fear that I always had was that it doesn't have some sort of a mechanism like that. And so you run the risk of actually, if anything like leans forward, your gear is just going to go for a tumble. And this way, it totally is secured in there. Even if this top flap comes up and it tips forward, your stuff's not going to go rolling around. If you don't like this flap, if it bugs you, you can literally take the lid, undo a Velcro flap that's in there, and I'm not going to necessarily make it all pretty and nice just for keeping the video a little faster, but it'll all fold away in there completely sight unseen, and you'll never even know that it's there once you have it in there nicely. That's not nice, but you get the idea. That's how it works. And then, if you want just a temporary holder to hold it out of the way, there's a Velcro tab here, and another one on the inside of your main flap. You just connect those, and so if you're out shooting on a given day and you just don't want that flap in your way and you have it on your shoulder, it takes care of it that way too. So really, really useful, helpful design. In the back of your main compartment is your laptop section, very nicely padded, and the 15.4-inch MacBook Pro fits in here perfectly fine. I carry mine in here, and it's just great. In the front, you have a cell phone pocket here, a pen holder here, and there's a pretty tight small compartment in here. But if you wanted to put like a notepad, if you're doing photojournalism or just want to keep track of your settings or anything else, there's plenty of room for a notepad in there. You can also tuck away a bunch of business cards in there. Memory card holder would fit in there just fine. Hey, you know, whatever. I actually stick my eyeglass case down in there and it works. And then you can unzip this, and here is a really generous amount of room in your front pouch. You can put a lot of stuff in here. Another feature that I've seen on a ton of the Think Tank bags is this tether, which is absolutely perfect for tethering your keychain in here. You can pop that in there and have it. There's another little tether here, you can get a carabiner and connect anything in there that you would want. And then there's a series of pouches here. Again, one that goes the width of the whole bag, and then two that are half the width of the bag. Again, perfect for a memory card pouch, or a little notebook, or owner's manual to your camera, or whatever else you'd want to put in there. There is another section right in here for a tablet. You can fit a very large tablet in here. I'm not an iPad user, so I don't have the biggest iPad Pro, but my guess would be with a 15-inch bag, you're probably going to be okay with just about any iPad that's on the market. Should probably fit into this thing. Again, I'm kind of guessing. You'll want to check your measurements in there, but I'm pretty sure that you can fit anything in there that you could get that would be counted as a tablet. I actually put a 13-inch laptop in there, and it actually kind of fit. This enclosure didn't zip all the way with the particular 13-inch that I had. I did not have the 13-inch MacBook Pro. It was a Lenovo, and it was a little thicker and clunkier, and that would not fit in there. Alright, let me just flip this back over to the front and show you the back of the bag. Alright, so the back of the bag has two compartments. You have a little Velcro seal here for, again, a full width of the camera pouch. I personally, for my use, I use it for model releases. I just take a folder, and I just put like 25 or 30 model releases blank in there, so that when I'm out shooting, if I get something that's really special and I know that I'm going to want to use it, or if it's something that you're going to want to use for stock photography or for whatever, I just have them there to just pull out and say, hey, sign this for me. And it can be a real handy thing just to have on hand, even when you're not doing a model shoot or anything of the sort. And then you have the luggage pass-through. I use the Streetwalker roller backpack, and it has the little handle that comes up and you use the pass-through. The airport designer bags, I haven't seen those, but I've certainly seen them online. I'm sure as equally as awesome. And so yeah, I would say absolutely at the price range, 140 bucks, this is a killer bag. I mentioned that there were a couple of design things or a couple of little fine touches that that aren't on here that are on the Signature. One is, this is not a pivoting hinge, and on the Signature 13 it is. So if you get all twisted around or whatnot, or it just spins. It's just a tiny little thing, but I like it a lot on the Signature 13. And this, on a less, bag half the price, you're gonna not have exactly the same thing. So that's that. And then the other thing that I love on the Signature 13 is just the pure luxury material, and you're not going to have luxury material again on a bag that's half the price. The one thing that I would say would be a dream bag for me as a user would be to merge the two and come up with a Signature 13. Signature 15. Basically, just extend the width enough so that I can get my MacBook Pro in there, but then all of those luxury, the leather and the gorgeous wool, soft fabric and whatnot, and I think they'd have absolutely another huge winner on their hands there too. But this thing is going to just tear up the photography accessory market like crazy. This is absolutely awesome. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate if you would subscribe. And I'm going to get a couple of other bags. You know what, I've mentioned the Signature 13 a bunch, so I'll toss that one on here as a link. And then this guy, the FLM Travel Tripod, I'm going to pop that on there too since I mentioned that. So you can check those out. I have a whole bunch of other gear reviews and a ton more coming. So if you would kindly subscribe, and shares are always much appreciated. And I will see you again soon. Thanks.